Hello guys, so welcome to this animated cloud tutorial. So I have this max file saved in particular folder, and unit setup I am using is meters, and system unit scale is also set to meters. So we will start by creating plain object here first, and let's make it like 100 by 100 meter, and we will just copy this plain object couple of times. Okay, so this will be the emitter for the cloud, and I will create thinking particle system. So I am using thinking particles beta here, and let's create group called smoke, or call it cloud, and we will create matter waves. So generator matter waves, we set it to cloud group and pick all of 3 objects. And let's set the timeline to like 250 all real time off, and let's set it to 250. So here I will do just more emitters and randomization on, and I want to delete particles after like 2 frame. So this will be the emitter for the cloud, and we can replace the velocity by velocity operator. So we can give direction -1. Okay, now let's start creating final fluid grid. So we want cloud to rise, so let's give some height. And then we create fluid emitter, and for that we use particles and select thinking particles, and we want cloud group. Okay, so let's add our emitter, and we turn on big effect mode because we want clouds like large. And if we click preview, it looks bad, so let's change the background. So first we need to enable geometry cache for the particles to be cached out, and before that I will just increase the amount of particles, so make it 1000, and select final fluid grid, and we just cache the entire system. Okay, so let's reduce vorticity, and let's change the color gradient to something like bluish for the cloud. this to more dark here. Okay, now this looks good. We want to do animated cloud. So generally I work with low velocity mask and increase the screen photo vorticity, and we also want cloud to move like in specific direction. For the direction, let's increase buoyancy, and for the sparsity let's make it 1 for the smoke. Okay, we want positive 1, and little bit for the smoke as well, vorticity mask. Okay, one thing we need to do is not emit particles for all frame but certain frame range. So we will limit it to like 100 frame maybe. Okay, and let's select final fluid grid, cast, preview. We don't want smoke to dissipate fast, so let's this varying to 0.01. One thing we need to do is here in smoke, let's make it like 100. We want very heavy smoke, temperature a bit, and a little bit fluid fuel, so 20, 10, and in the grid let's change the subsample to 3 and we preview again. So we want buoyancy to rise faster. It's too much buoyancy, so let's reduce it to 100. And let's reduce smoke mask to 0.05. Let's increase memory limit to 5. And little bit more detail in cell size. So now we are seeing some nice shape of the cloud. Yeah, so increasing subsample gives a little bit more nice shape. And we don't want entire, we just want animated cloud, so for we need only few frames. Maybe reduce simulation speed to 0.5, so it will be a little bit slow. Yeah, now we see some nice shape. You can also create circular emitter or some noise on the plane. Let's give a little bit velocity mask to break into more smaller vortices. As you can see here, it's too much, maybe 0.15. one thing we can do is just reduce emitter size. So instead of 10 meter I will do like 3 meter, and we need to cache again and preview. So yeah, it looks nice. A little bit more buoyancy. Lovely. Maybe a little bit more pressure so it will expand more. A little bit more mask on vorticity, smoke mask, so we will break it a little bit more. Let's keep it 1 and we make it rise a little bit more. Let's keep it -1 as well. And one thing we can do is reduce fuel per burn to 0.5. Yeah, now we are getting the shape. Okay, one more thing we can do is add noise with wind force. So we add wind and reduce strain to 0 and turbulence to 50, a little bit frequency and scale. We pick the force, cache, preview. So now we have clouds is breaking into more small noise, more turbulence to the cloud, as you can see here. Nice. So we need to export this cloud. So go to VDB and we select active time segment, and we will also do rendering of cloud as well. So where is cloud tutorial folder? Here, and we create new VDB folder and we call it this cloud and export. So now exporting will take like 2-3 minutes. You can achieve same with type flow. You can add this plane like emitters plane or some noise or mask out gradient with the type flow and emit the particles, but you must assign shape operator to give particle emitter size for the final fluid grid to get the emitter size from the shape. So let this be export and I will show you how to use finalRender to render the clouds. Unfortunately I cannot pause this screen recording, so I will let it go as like this. So this simulation substep is very important. More substep you get nice simulation. At one you also can get, but 3 or 5 is enough. and big effect prediction time is to you need to increase it until you see less artifacts in vorticity. So yeah, I think we can reduce even more this cell size for the detail, but for this tutorial I think I will keep the 2 meter as for now. So as you can see, it's very powerful and easy to track all these settings to get a nice cloud, animated cloud. You can even create more planes here and have multiple source, multiple more emitters to create like a cloudscapes with a larger grid. And after exporting this VDB, you can use one frame of the VDB for the still cloud, or you can use all the frames and do animated cloud for the particular frame range. So it's about to be finished and we dive into finalRender, rendering using finalRender from the CBAS. So it's exported out. I will just hide it, bring out finalRender. No license found, so I need to add license. Import. So I need to change again, select. Okay, now it's working. GPU I will use just boot, turn off default light. So to set up the VDB grid, we need to create VDB grid. So let's go to finalRender, FR volume object, and we create it. And we are working in 3D Studio Max, so we need to disable voice up, and you need to select Z for the for it's being 3D Studio Max, and I will turn on animation. So if I click now, I need to reposition this, so I will just select align tool and click on final fluid grid and select pivot. So it's assigned now perfectly, and we can see the grid. So I will create the camera here and select the grid material, bring out material editor, we create new FR volume material and we assign it to this grid. So scattering, let's make it pure white, maybe like this, cloudy white, and let's render. So it's all black now because there is no lighting. So what we can do is add lighting. So we would go to lights, click on finalRender, and we create FR sun. So we want it a bit more side lighting, and hit render. Now we see the cloud, but we need scattering and little bit emission as well. So select the light and just increase sun multiplier to everything. We need scattering, we need emission. I will turn on black body and here color. So let's make emission to bluish color, and we need more bounce, so we increase it to like 25, 10, 10, 10, 20. Now we see the nice cloud. So maybe emission is a little bit more high. Maybe a little bit less bluish. We can do density emission as well. Now this looks nice, but I like black body one a little bit more, so I will just skip the black body emission. As we do not use black body shader, it will work overall. We can reduce density if we want a little bit. Density. And scatter color, we can make it more bluish. So we have nice puffy cloud. We can even go a little bit more closer and little bit more. So you can render out particular frame only. For example, this to this range where the cloud is animated, and that will be our animated cloud. So one thing I would like to do change in material lighting here is change the horizon height to a little bit down and a bit blurred. And now if we render, we have blue sky. Yeah, now we have the sky blue. We can change the exposure a little bit here, apply tone mapping, contrast, highlights, midtones, shadows. So this is our cloud, and that's it. That's how we can render a cloud in finalRender using VDB. It works same in all other renderer as well. We can even try a little bit sunset lighting, and we will have sunset result. It's a night. So that's all about it. One final thing we can add is denoiser. So after this rendered out, as you can see, it's very fast to render in finalRender. We can apply denoiser, so it will blur out some noisy. Let's try different lighting from the behind and a little bit more. So we have some nice quad rays going through clouds as well. This bluish tone is coming from the scattering, so we can make it less bluish. So this is our cloud tutorial ending. Thank you for watching it.